Have you been looking for a quality LED flashlight and wondering what makes them all different? Today we're going to test and review multiple lights from various manufacturers to help you decide which one is right for you on Let's Talk Tech Today. Hi everyone, Mike here. Thanks for joining us today. We'd like to wish everybody a happy holidays and a hope for a happy New Year's. In keeping with the theme, we have red and green colored flashlights to represent those that celebrate Christmas, and we have silver and blue lights to represent those that celebrate Hanukkah and for the upcoming New Year's. We have many topics we're going to go over, and we will be giving a quick demonstration how we tested all of these lights to verify the accuracy of their advertised specifications. First, let's talk about the different types of LEDs used in flashlights. The most commonly used ones are SMDs, or surface-mounted devices. They come in various sizes, they're better with focus light, and they're very reliable. The other type, known as COB, or chip-on-board, are gaining in popularity with your much larger flashlights where a wider and more even coverage is desired. They cost more, but they are more energy efficient and can produce more light with less power. Due to their design, where there's multiple little sources of lights on this chip, they do produce more heat. The advantage that an SMD offers over a COB is that you can get more lumens per watt. Both of these types will provide you with over 50,000 hours of usage. Next are the different types of reflectors used in flashlights. Parabolic reflectors are commonly used, and they come in either a smooth or an orange peeled, sometimes looking like the dimples on a golf ball, and that is that mirrored cone-shaped object behind the glass lens on a flashlight. Which is the next topic, are the type of lenses that are used. Historically, flashlights used a glass lens because your incandescent bulbs produced a tremendous amount of heat. These lenses would either be a Fresnel type lens or convex. A convex lens is designed where it's thicker in the middle to help to focus your light. A Fresnel lens features a series of concentric grooves cut into a flat piece of glass. On a flashlight, they would appear as a bunch of circles that get smaller and smaller as you get towards the center of the lens. On a rectangular piece of glass, which you would be familiar with the older style headlights on vehicles, these were those little geometric patterns that you would see cut into the lens, and this helped to produce a more even type of lighting across the desired area of illumination. Next is the color temperature that the manufacturers are utilizing for their lights. You'll see this represented by CCT, that stands for correlated color temperature. This is the hue and the tone of the white light that is produced. And it's always represented in degrees K, or it'll have a capital K after 4-digit number. Sunlight is 5800 K, and traditional incandescent bulbs and the bulb style flashlights that we used to use with the big D batteries in them that would only last about 5 minutes, those were about 2800 K. When you buy LED lights in a home improvement store, you'll see them represented by WW, or warm white. This is lights that are less than 3000 K, that are more like our traditional incandescent bulbs. There's also NW, or neutral white. This is typically between 4000 and 5000 K. And then there's cool white, or you may see it represented as bright white, so it's CW or BW, and these are lights that produce white color that is higher than a 5000 K. These are all personal preferences, so it depends upon what you want. Many of the flashlight manufacturers have gravitated more towards the cool white temperatures that are over 5000 K, probably trying to aim towards that natural color of sunlight of 5800 K. But many people still want those lights that are closer to what they've been used to for most of their life, around that 3000 K. So we're starting to see some of these companies making the lights available in multiple color variations, whether it's a neutral white or a cool white. I haven't really seen too many of them that have the warm white as an option, but I'm sure, again, as technology advances, we'll start to see an availability of 3 different types that you can order these in. Another rating you may see is CRI. This stands for Color Rendering Index, and it is how natural that the light appears. This is on a scale of 0 to 100, where sunlight is considered a CRI of 100 because it's the most natural source of light that we have. Any light that produces a CRI greater than 95 is considered the most natural and a true color representation of the object that you're trying to illuminate. Any light that's greater than 85 is considered good, and anything below 80 has an unnatural color rendering, and many of your objects that you're illuminating may appear to be the same color, such as a dark blue and a black object, or some of your greens and your yellow colors may appear to be the same. It's common to see a CRI of 70 in many of these LED lights, strictly because they're using color temperatures that are greater than 5800 K, and there's more blue light that is being emitted from these LEDs, and it's just throwing off the coloring of the lights. The last two ratings are lumens and candela. Lumens is the total amount of light emitted from the source, ignoring the spread and angle of the light. So it doesn't matter if it's a spotlight or a floodlight. The source can be the same between the two, but a spotlight is going to appear much brighter. A good flashlight company will give you the candela rating, which measures the amount of focused light at a specific distance, which is why a spotlight will appear much brighter. Measuring candela is a lot more complex and difficult to measure unless you have all the variables, especially the beam angle. Lumens are much easier to measure since it is a collection of the total light emitted from the source. An integrating sphere can be used to measure the light, but they're quite expensive and require frequent recalibration. However, using some basic science and math, you can make your own sphere or collection box and use a lux meter to calculate a multiplier with the lumens from a known source to determine the lumens of an unknown source.
Yes, science!
So that's exactly what we did. We made our own collection box, and we are going to now show you how we calculated our multiplier, and we are going to test the lumens on every single one of these lights. We're not going to show every single one of them to you, but we will show you the results that we found on them. After the test, I will show the very first LED flashlight that I purchased about 6 years ago. It happens to be on the table right now. And then all the ones I purchased subsequently to it that started a bit of an addiction. As you can see, I have quite a few Olight flashlights. I didn't even know who the company was about a year ago until a family friend showed me his collection. I'd actually like to take the time right now to thank Olight for sending a couple lights to us for this video. The majority of these lights we actually purchased ourselves for the channel. Many of these actually were free, including this hat that are part of many of the promotions that they run frequently. We did reach out to other flashlight manufacturers to include them in this video, but Olight's the only company that responded to our requests. So again, thank you. From different forums that I follow, as well as reading reviews that others have done flashlight tests, Olight typically comes in right around their advertised lumen rating. I'm going to use two of their lights that have multiple LEDs when they're turned on, as opposed to using a single LED light flashlight as my control lights. In theory, this should eliminate any variances that a single LED light would have where they might be slightly over or under their advertised lumens. My prediction is the multipliers should be close to one another, and what I will do is take the average between these two multipliers that will again remove any variances from one light over the other. So let's go to the other room and start the test. So we're in another room now where I built a collection box. This is basically just built out of scrap, a insulation board that I had that's got a mirror reflection on one side, and the other side, as you can see here, is just the white styrofoam. And what I did, there was actually a shiny plastic that was on there. I peeled it off on all the surfaces on the inside, and I made a small hole here to be able to put the two test lights in here. The test lights that we are going to be using is the Olight Marauder Mini, and we will be also using the Seeker 4 Pro. The Seeker 4 Pro has 4 LEDs that come on when you use the light, and on the Marauder Mini, 6 LEDs will turn on when you have it in floodlight mode. I have just a standard light meter that has a detachable sensor. I have the sensor actually taped to the top of the box here. I have my sensor actually set to foot candle since this box is not a square meter, which usually is what Lux is using for your surface area. Foot candle is more meant for a square foot area. So that is what I'm using based on all the information that I read online. And then the two lights that we're going to do to determine the lumens from them is the Baton 4 and also the Baton Turbo. Then all the other lights I will be testing off camera, and I'll show you the results to those. The other thing that you have to make sure when you're doing a test like this, you do not want to use these on the maximum brightness, because many of these lights, the maximum brightness can only remain on for sometimes 60 seconds, and then they'll taper back due to the heat that is generated from the light, and they actually lose their efficiency. So again, everything that I read online says you should be using a lower lumens, more in the mid-level. You don't want to go all the way down testing at like a 5 lumen rate, because that would not give you a good variable to use to create your multiplier. So what I'll do here, this is turned on, it's registering 0, so there is no light leakage coming in, even though we have this little cutout here. It's minimal that it's not registering on the sensor, since the sensor is up here, and it's more or less registering the light that is collected in this area. So when I shine the lights in, I'm actually going to shine it slightly towards this area. So let me first turn this light on. I already have this one set to mid-level 4. This should be 800 lumens. And when I put the light in here, I'm going to just leave this in. You should let it run for roughly 30 seconds so it can taper down, and just keeping an eye on the meter to make sure that it isn't continuing to drop, that your number is remaining steady. And as I'm looking at this right now, it's pretty much leveled off. I'm looking at 4,377. I'm actually applying a times 10 multiplication factor in there. So if we take 4,377, and that is our 800 lumens, I'll do the math after when we do this one so that we can do our calculation based on the average between the two. We'll turn this light on. This light I am testing based on 300 lumens, and this is on the, I believe it's the third level on the light. So I will put this one in here now and let it run, make sure that it's not going to drop any. And this one's holding really steady. There's no fluctuation at all on this light. I love this Seeker 4 Pro. Looks like 1601. It's not quite 30 seconds, but if it hasn't dropped in the first 15 seconds, it should hold pretty steady there. So we have 1601, that's 300 lumens. And then what we'll do, just take out my phone, pull up the calculator, and then anybody can verify the math if they want for me on this. But so we are going to take our reading, or our 800 lumens, and then we want to divide that by the 4,377 that we registered, which should give us a multiplication factor of 0.183. I'm going to round it. And then we take the other measurement of 1601, or sorry, the 300 lumens, divide that by 1601. That gives us 0.187. So 0.187, the other one was 0.183. So if we add 0.183, divide that by 2, I'm going to use a multiplication factor of 0.1852 is technically what that is rounding to. So now if I put one of these other two lights in here, I've already preset this on here. So the Baton 4, I have it set at 60 lumens, and the other light, I have this set at 300 lumens based on what it should be registering. So we will turn this light on now. And we'll just hold this in here for 10-15 seconds to see where this will register out at. And again, at a lower lumens, you shouldn't see much fluctuation just because of the efficiencies of them. They aren't going to generate much heat when you're at a mid-level. So I'm holding steady here at 308 on that particular one. So I will write 308. And then the Baton Turbo, which the Baton Turbo is more of a spotlight. The Baton 4 is more of a floodlight. And this is actually, there we go. That's the setting that I wanted to use on this one for the 300 lumens. All right, so I am looking at 1705. I did actually run this test just prior to the filming just to make sure that the lights were at the proper calibration. And when I saw that the first number come up, I said that can't be right because I had written down previously on the board here the numbers that I was getting on that test. So if I take the Baton 4 and we had 308, and if we multiply that times the 0.1852, that is giving us 57 lumens. And it's saying, based on the specifications, that it should be 60 lumens, which is pretty much right on spot. You should always allow for a 5% variance whenever you're doing anything that you aren't going to a precision of 10 decimal places. So this is within limits and is pretty much accurate. In this other light here, we saw 1705. If we multiply that times 1852, we see 315, almost 316 lumens, and it should be 300 lumens. So again, that's pretty close to that 5% variance that we're looking at. So I'm very satisfied with the numbers that I'm receiving on these. I think it is much more beneficial using two lights to use as your calibration lights, and then averaging it out. That way you take out of any variables. You could see slightly different numbers if the batteries on these were a little bit weaker. I did fully charge all three of these lights and all the other lights that I'm testing. They are all either fully charged or they have a brand new AA battery in them if it doesn't support a rechargeable battery. So I will do the test on the remainder of all the lights that I have on my desk, and I will compile it into a spreadsheet that I'm going to overlay as we discuss the lights when we go back into the room. So the very first flashlight that I purchased, if you take a look here, it's obviously not an Olight since I just learned about them a year ago. It must be one of these five, and it happens to be this one right here. And it's by a company that is listed as WSKY. I call it their whiskey, and it's their model S3000. Purchased this off of Amazon. All it stated was it was a high lumen flashlight. It didn't state how many lumens that it would produce, but I did find this S3000 is actually manufactured by different companies on Amazon. Some of the other companies that I've seen are WDT Pro and a company called Covmax, Covmax, and they will, in different listings, say the same thing, either high lumens or up to 500 lumens. In the test that I found, this is producing 551 lumens, and I'm assuming it is probably a 500 or 600 lumen emitter on this. So I wasn't expecting to see 1600 lumens on this, and I don't know if these other ones that these other companies have that, if they truly would have that. I do know some of these lights that you do find on Amazon that they have some astronomically high lumens, like 1 million lumens or 2 million lumens on them. Obviously, that's unrealistic. I know in this test, and as you saw in the testing, that's impossible to have, especially in a light this small. So my recommendation is, yeah, it works, but it's not going to give you exactly what you might be looking for if you're looking for a super bright light. But for the cost of that you can pick these up for, they aren't too bad. But my recommendation is avoid a flashlight manufacturer that doesn't have any vowels in their name, and you should be okay. If anything, this looks like the name of a radio station, WSKY. So anyway, the next light that I purchased, and I started to get a little bit more into them, and this was about 5 years ago, is a company called Nebo. And this flashlight here, this is actually called their Redline 6K. It's a 6,000 lumen light, and this has the ability to rotate to control the focus of your beam that you're shining. It is a light, a very bright light, and why I purchased this particular one is it has the cob LED in there as opposed to um, the SMD emitters that are typically used in these other flashlights with the single LED that I discussed earlier. But this is a quite a heavy duty light. I did find that you can't fly with this because the heat sink that's designed on here, that this is considered tactical, and it is not allowed on an airline. So I did have to actually, when I traveled with it once, I drove to visit family in Florida, and I had to buy a plastic box to put in my suitcase to bring it back home with me so that I wouldn't lose this. This is a really good light, and the lumens on this, and I'm going to put this up on an overlay here right now. This flashlight actually came in pretty close to the 6,000 lumens on that. So I'm not going to put Nebo down. They do make fantastic products. They don't have as an extensive offering of lights compared to a company like Olight. So I did I was going to purchase a couple more lights from them, but once I learned about Olight last year and got my first one, I did notice that there's a vast difference between the two of them. The other light that I did purchase from Nebo is called their Torchy. This is actually a 1000 lumen light, and the 1000 lumen is when you're putting it on their turbo mode. There, right there. But the one thing that I did find with both of these lights, the 6K and this Torchy, I was not able to get 1,000 lumens on this. I was only able to get 918 in the turbo mode. That was the maximum if I tested it when I first turned it on. And I did see that the numbers rapidly declined from that. Even at the high rating where this should be 500 lumens, I was only able to get 423 lumens out that. So again, with the overlay that I just presented there, it does have the results that I was able to obtain from both of these. I didn't bother putting this one here since it's a single light on there, and it's really nothing fancy. Um, Another light that I did just for fun, I picked this up as a 3-pack at Costco many years ago. There's actually two different LEDs in here for spotlight and floodlight. This one is advertised as a 500 lumen light, and this actually tested at 551. It only uses AA batteries, so that is you get what you pay for. And again, like this other one here, you're not going to do a lot of fancy things with it. This Duracell one, I actually do have trouble with the button on there, so quality control isn't the best on it. One thing that I do want to point out is Olight has a lifetime warranty on all of their flashlights that are purchased in the US. So if you ever have a problem with them, you can interact with their customer service on their app or from their website. I follow extensively and participate in their Facebook group, and I do see people always giving them high praises for customer service, being very fair with them, many times even sending them an upgrade for a replacement light. So that is something that I really appreciate, and one thing that I like about their company is that they stand behind the product. Um, I'm obviously on a $5 light, you're not going to be contacting customer service, you're going to throw it away. And same with an Amazon light that you just purchase another one. I don't know exactly what the warranty is on the Nebos. I will overlay this here. And then this is another light here. This is from a company, Fiat Electric. Um, they make a lot of LED light bulbs for the house. And you'll find them again in Costco, and even Home Depot carries them now. It's very similar to this one. I actually picked this one up last year during the holidays. Very similar. It uses a cob emitter on here, and it's quite bright. I don't want to look directly in it so I don't blind myself. And it is rechargeable. This is rechargeable. The Nebo is rechargeable. The end of it looks very similar to the Olight chargers, but the contacts are at a different point, so they are not interchangeable between them. They are proprietary by the manufacturer. These two larger ones and this whiskey one, they just use a USB to recharge them. But the one thing that I don't like on some of these other lights that are a little bit less expensive, Olights are definitely not cheap, but they do have some less expensive models that you can purchase from them. But these other lights, what I don't like about them is you always have to cycle through the menu, going through the lights from the high to the low. You can't just go in where you want it to be saved at the last memory. The user interface on the Olight flashlights is pretty much the same between all of them. And I love that no matter which of the lights that I pick up, the operation of them is going to be the same, so I don't have to think about what do I need to do or having to push it 5 times to turn the thing off. So that definitely is something that I do love about their products. So the next ones that I want to show here are their model E3T, which is this one. This here is this is the version 2, and this one will actually accept a 3.7 volt lithium ion battery in here, or you can just use a regular AA battery in this. When you have the 3.7 volt in there, it will actually make this a 300 lumen light. Otherwise, it's typically just a 200 lumen light, and there's just two brightnesses within this. And there's a way you can program it to have it either a dim and then bright. I've messed it up and I haven't gone back and redone the programming, but the instructions are available to do that with this. This is different than many of their other lights just because it's just 2 levels of brightness. And the other light that they have, which would be this one and this one, this was actually part of a Christmas promo that I got a few weeks ago. And these ones, basically, you just turn them on to use. There's no push button. They are gasketed, so they are slightly water resistant, and they just use a AA battery on those. So I will put the overlay here for the E3T2, and then these are the I3E. Typically, these are given to you free whenever you make your first purchase or any promotions that they have. The next lights that I want to show are their diffuse lights. These ones are 700 lumen lights. They have push button operation. And many of their lights with the push button operation, you can actually put them into a lockout mode. So that way when you push it, you don't accidentally turn it on if you happen to have it in a pocket or a backpack. And all you have to do is hold it down for 2 seconds and it will turn the light back on. And you hold it down again for another 2 seconds. And that way you can put it back into the lockout mode. So I really do like that light. And then the other one is their ITX light, which is this one. This is similar to the I3E light, and that is a twist on, twist off, and there's 2 levels of brightness with this one. This light is actually rechargeable, so when you unscrew it, there's a USB-C in here that you can recharge, and when you close it back up, there's a gasket in here to make it all waterproof. So that's a cool little light too. So again, the overlay shows the ratings on them. They both came in very close, slightly over the advertised lumens. So pretty much what everybody else was predicting, that's exactly what we're seeing on those. Um, let's see, the next set of lights that we can discuss are going to be their O clips. These are cool little lights. This was actually one of the first ones. This particular is the first one O light that I bought from them. And what I like about this, it's very small, compact. It's USB rechargeable with a built-in lithium-ion battery, and it can be red if you want, or you can just cycle through the different brightnesses that this has. And this runs quite a while, if as long as you aren't driving it with the high brightness. But they did come out with a new version of this. This is just the original O clip. It is magnetic on the back of this, so you can put it to a metal surface, such as this toolbox. And it's got a little clip on here, which is kind of cool. Um, they introduced the O Clip Pro a few months ago, and this one actually has a rotatable switch on the side. And as you can see, there's 3 lights in here now, as opposed to the old one that just has the single LED emitter. And this one you're able to do a spotlight, you can do a floodlight, and then the red light, similar to this one, that has the 2 in the 1 LED, but this one's red light is actually 10 times brighter than the other one. I did have this one etched with the company logo here, Let's Talk Tech, on there. And I think this was like right after in early November when this was announced. I got it in the orange. I thought that was a nice color. But one thing that I am finding, many people have posted this in the Facebook group, that they're using these in their vehicles to clip to their visors, and that's exactly what I'm going to do with these. And in particular, I bought a green one to put into my vehicle, so that I'm able to do just that. That this is going to stay in my vehicle. By being USB rechargeable, I can always recharge it in the vehicle while I'm driving if need be. And I had it etched with paw prints on it because I'm a very big animal lover and have dogs and a cat. So I'm very animal friendly, as well as Olight. They make contributions to animal shelters, that they're very pet friendly themselves. So I like to kind of give back to a company that likes to focus on the same things that are of interest to me. This red one here is actually one of the ones that Olight sent to me for this test. This is red, and it's got snowflakes on it for the holiday season. So that was very nice of them to send that to me. This was sent to me shortly, actually I asked them if this is one that they could include just because of the red color. And then when I happened to see this green one, I thought, perfect for the holiday theme, has the ability to go along with the 2 green lights that we have in the diffuse. So those are those lights. So then the next set of lights that I want to discuss is their ArcFeld Pro. This light, it has a rotatable switch similar to the O-Clip Pro. And what this has is you have your LED light that's on one side, and it has different levels of brightnesses. You can do a laser pointer, and if you double tap it, you can use the light with the laser pointer at the same time. And then it has a UV light, so you can see the picks up the white, and if you want to go walk around the house, you can use it to see if there's any stains on carpets and whatnot. So this is one that they actually sent to me a month ago for another review that I did for Hurricane series. So if you want to see a lot more in depth of all the features of all of the Olights, go to my video that is for surviving after a hurricane or storm preparedness. And there's a chapter in there specifically for LED flashlights, and you can see a lot more examples of these lights in there. But this other light, this is their ArcFeld Ultra. I'll put up the numbers here to show the differences between them. The Ultra has 100 lumens more on the brightness, but the controls are the same between them. And this is the Ultra is made out of a material called aluminum. It's a material that they actually created that is more durable than the typical aluminum that they use for their other products. And this particular blue series, they had a production issue with them where the finish may come off on them. So they were discounting the lights. I actually bought one for a family member for the holidays, but they did send me this particular light for this test as well. And again, the functionality is the same as the regular Olight. And you may see, because of the magnets on these, they may do some funky things to you when you put them near each other, as well as some members actually noticed on the O-Clip Pro, if if you hold the magnet up to them, um, somehow it will interfere because it uses a magnetic switch. There it goes. So you can actually change the light just by holding the magnet to it. So that's not a fault of it. It's just the nature of magnets. So that is one thing that I don't know if they'll be able to work around it, but they are using a magnetic switch for them. So let's see, the next two lights, which are very nice, are their Baton 4. This is one that I actually did purchase myself because I'm a huge fan of olive drab green, and I like the gold accents that this light has. But this is a light that when you put it inside, this is actually available as a pro version. There is a battery pack in here that's rechargeable with USB-C, and when you drop the light in, it will always have this light fully charged for you. So you can see more of a in-depth illustration of that in my storm video that I made. And the other light is the, must be this one. No, that's the Seeker 4. Is the Baton Turbo. Oh, that's this one. The Baton Turbo. This one is more of a spotlight, and it has a very nice focus beam on this. Again, I illustrated this in that other video, and this one, they consider this a thrower, that you're able to throw the beam to a concentrated space and it reaches a nice far distance of illumination, as opposed to using some of these that are more of a floodlight beam. The Arcfeld Ultra and I believe the regular Arcfeld Pro, both of these are available that you can order them as either a cool white or the neutral white. And many people are happy now that they are offering the neutral white in that, so that it's not as white, and that CRI reading, or that CRI rating, should be a little bit higher on those lights. The next one here that I have, this is the Seeker 4 Mini. And what this is, this has two LEDs in here that illuminate. And again, you have the different brightnesses, same push button control of all these other ones so far. And this also does have a UV light built into it. This UV light is actually brighter than the one that's in the Arcfeld series. So it is kind of nice. I really wish this was just a flashlight. I'd like to see them have a different version of that, but that is a cool light in itself. The next one, this is another one that they sent for this test. This is the Seeker 4 Pro. This thing is a phenomenal light. This is a special finish that they made, and I loved the silvery effect, and I wanted it to, kind of why I asked if they could send me these two. The blue and the silver that coincides with New Year's is usually blue and silver, as well as people that celebrate Hanukkah. So I wanted to go with that theme. This one automatically goes into lockout mode when you are not using it. So all you need to do is just rotate the dial 90 degrees, and it allows you to take it out of lockout mode. And you can either rotate the button here to go through your brightnesses, or if it's all the way down on dim, if you just double tap it, it'll bring you to the full brightness. This is a very heavy duty light. It's probably it's about the same weight as this one, but you know if this is in your pocket. It's quite a bit of heft. It's rechargeable using their magnetic clip that goes on the back of it. Just plug it into a USB-A port and you can recharge the light. And the last light that I have of theirs is this is their Marauder Mini. This one I purchased myself, and I absolutely love this blue color when I saw it. It is different than the blue color that they have on their other lights comparative to this particular one. This has the same interface as the Seeker 4 Pro, where you rotate it to unlock it. And I use this one on on the control tests, as you saw previously. But it's got the 6 LEDs that come on when you're in floodlight mode, and when you're in spotlight mode, it's got a turn switch here, and that way it puts it onto the single LED that's in the middle. And you can also, it has a red LED, it has a green LED, and it has a blue LED. They actually did have in their Facebook group asking people a little over a month ago if people had other preferences other than the red, green, and the blue light. Would they like to see an option where you can get it with a UV light in there or other colors available, maybe amber or something like that. So it is nice that they interact with the consumers to find out is how can we make this better for you. This is a 7,000 lumen light, and I'll put up the results here from the test, and it was pretty much dead on all the results of this, and we saw that as well when we were testing it in the other room. And same with this, the Seeker 4 Pro. Why I use this in the control is because it's 4 LEDs that come out of it. This one has the 6 LEDs, so that way I was able to eliminate any variables within that. The toolbox, you might be asking, what does this have to do with flashlights? And the only reason why this is here is, again, from the Facebook user group, that many people have been buying these small little toolboxes. You can find them in pretty much all of your home improvement stores. And it's just a way for you to keep your collection of flashlights within them. I did put the name of our channel here. And it's got the two drawers, and you're able to keep all your different chargers or whatnot in it. Keep it closed, and that way everything's all in one spot. You typically can find these anywhere from, I got this actually on Black Friday, was 12 bucks, and I've seen them as high as $30. Some of them have 3 drawers. So that's something that right now is a big popular item for people in the Olight forum group. So I decided might as well get one, just like everybody else has, because I thought it was neat to keep everything in there and be in a metal toolbox. And the fact that most of these are magnetized on the back from the charging ports, you can hold it directly with the magnet in the box, and you don't have to worry about them shuffling around. So that's pretty much it for the review of the lights. And I hope that I was able to provide information that people should be informed with if you want to get into buying LED flashlights. I'm sure that many of you may find that it is quite addictive. They have different colors that you can buy, and there's people in their forum groups that only buy lights in certain colors. And I've seen people that'll have a whole series of lights. They'll have hundreds of them, or they'll have all the green ones together, and they'll have purple ones that they make unlimited runs, and the red lights and the green lights. And it's just phenomenal to see the following that this company has. And it's just such a quality product, and I'm glad that I learned of this from my family friend. And I love these things. I use them all the time, and knowing of people saying clip this onto your visor in your vehicle, that hey, there's another purpose for these. I'm going to buy a couple more of these O-Clip Pros for other vehicles, and maybe send a few of them to some family friends for presents in the future, so that they can have them too. Because what I like about especially with this, with the red light, You can make it flash, being magnetic. You can stick it to the back of your vehicle or the front of the vehicle if you're broken down on the side of the road, and use it as an emergency flasher just to make sure somebody sees you if the flashers on your vehicle aren't working. But you also have a bright floodlight or spotlight and the floodlight if you need to look at something under the hood. So I can't speak highly enough of this particular light, and this is only a $30 light. They aren't outrageously expensive. The most expensive light on this table is the Marauder Mini, and this is typically, it's either 180 or 199. I don't know exactly where the price is at. I actually picked this one up on sale. I was able to get it for $110 on an Amazon promotion, not directly through Olight, but that's spending over $100 for a flashlight. I was like, this better be good. But this thing is phenomenal and worth every dollar, and pretty much worth the $200 price tag that it has. But they do put them on sale frequently with different promotions. So I can't say enough of them. I don't want to put any of these companies down because they are pretty much quality flashlights, other than a plastic $5 one that you get what you pay for. And these other ones, this doesn't even exist if you look on Amazon anymore to purchase it. And Nebo is a good company. I have had zero problems with these lights, so I would not have no hesitations. I've actually given a few Nebo, these torches, to some friends and some family in the past when I started getting bought these 5 years ago, and I thought this was a cool little light, and I think this was like $30. So I thought that was a cool thing. And these are really nice to have. Again, you could use it as a weapon, as finding out from the airlines, but it's a lot of heft. Kind of reminds me of the lights that police used to use in the past that would have the big D batteries in them. So, and then this one, I think this was $25 or $30 at Costco, and I only bought it just because it was inexpensive and they had a sale on it, and I figured, what the heck, let's see what it's about, and if I don't like it, I can always bring it back, but for the price, why not have it? So anyway, I want to wrap this up now. I really hope that you enjoyed what we presented to you, and to let you know that when you are buying a flashlight, there's more to them than just telling you how many lumens that they have, and the advertised lumens may be inaccurate, especially if they're just calling it high lumens, or some of those ones on Amazon where they're saying, oh, it's a million lumen light, which obviously is not true. So I'm going to be putting links directly to the main Olight site. I'm not going to put links to all of the individual ones here, but you can go to their website and find all the information that they have. They also do make knives if you're interested in knives, and they make optics for firearms. I don't have any of those, and I don't have any of their knives either. But they are a phenomenal company, so I can't say enough good things about them. And I know I'll definitely be purchasing more of their lights in the future as I come across different promotions that they have and other lights that spark my interest. I'll definitely be buying more Oak Clip Pros that I mentioned, and anything that's in the olive drab green, since that is one of my favorite colors for the lights. So with that, I want to thank you for joining us today. If you are not a subscriber of our channel, we'd appreciate it if you would click subscribe. We're still continuing to try to grow this channel, and we have steadily grown over the past year and a half that this channel has been in existence. Share the video with friends and family that you know that might enjoy the review of these lights. And also like this video by clicking like on any video that you watch on YouTube. That helps the algorithms within YouTube know that you enjoyed that video, and that it can recommend that to other individuals. So it does help us, and it does help other viewers to know that this is a video that you thought was very good. So with that, I want to say thank you again, and I hope everybody has a fantastic New Year's. I hope the best for everybody for 2025, And on behalf of all of us at Let's Talk Tech today, thank you and have a fantastic day.